Hello, everybody. We're going to have that talk we have to have today. Didn't want to do another live, but it's breaking news, and it looks as though the bilateral between Biden and Justin Trudeau are happening this Tuesday. We're going to talk about that, what that means for Canada. We're going to have an in-depth look at USA as it is versus Canada, how it exactly is in this world today, what you all need to know, what you all absolutely have to get shared out. So we're going to do this. We're going to go through it bit by bit, and why what works for America will never, ever work for Canada. So this bilateral is the economic plan forward between these two trading partners, which Canada has only one trade surplus in this world, according to how we trade, and that's absolutely with the United States, our number one trading partner. Here's the problem, everybody. Things you need to know, breaking down in order of importance versus least important, but they're all important. Number one is financial situation here. First and most important thing here is USA absolutely has the majority share in all foreign financial institutions, as they are the absolute creator of such, the absolute binding power in this world. Today, post-1946, Americans themselves absolutely have the majority share of all world debt. They own it. They literally own it. Canada, not even close, not even in any real way, shape, or form. People talk about American debt, debt load, debt to GDP ratio. However, what you'll often never hear, let alone hear from Americans, and I'm not here to slam, there's other world powers that have shares in this as well. America is one of the binding five, one of five in this world. They absolutely have the majority shareholder in World Financial, World Bank. The list goes on and on. There's several others. They're underneath the social and economic organ of the UN. USA, again, majority shareholder. Canada, nothing. Hardly anything at all. The gold on this earth today, America holds a whopping percentage amount in weight alone of the gold bullion in this world by a massive, massive large margin. Americans have most of all of it. That's reality. No fake news narrative here. This is real by the books. In world law and world setup and how economies go, most of the world trades in American dollar. That is the general currency of this world. There are other world binding powers trying to fight for that. Canada has absolutely no say on any of that whatsoever. They have no real strong ties, if any at all. They're subject to. Big difference in real economics here, everybody. Absolute things you need to know whenever trying to make a coordinated economic plan forward on the world stage. Justin Trudeau is going to make bilateral agreements on economics going forward, how we're going to trade products. Number three, Canada absolutely is in non-proliferation, meaning no utilization whatsoever of a major resource right here in Canada, especially right here in Western Canada, that is the absolute number one source in the entire world by a very large margin. That's enriched uranium. Canada is forbidden to use any major percentage of that enriched uranium that comes out literally out of the ground in the western regions, highest quality in the entire world. We can't use it. We are bound not to use it. That's the laws imposed on Canada, signed by none other than Pierre Elliott Trudeau. USA absolutely does not follow that whatsoever. They're one of five nations that have absolute full authority over all enriched uranium. They're able to change the energy narrative because they absolutely utilize highly enriched uranium as an alternative energy source, which again is 100% clean. When you talk about carbon pricing, carbon tax, USA majorly utilizes that energy source to absolutely establish dominance in specific resources in this world today that Canada is never, ever going to be able to do. Apples versus oranges. When you get into promising all these green techs that don't work out, absolutely do not work out in Canada in the climate that we live in. And we're even further north of the USA. You look at the fifth meridian, everything above that will never, ever to be ever able to compete with USA, let alone against that narrative enriched uranium utilized by the United States of America. Canada will never have it, and we will never be able to ever harvest new green technologies in any kind of efficiency that can be seen in the USA limitedly unless they utilize that whopping nuclear power, which they do. We can't do that. We use reactors here that require constant fuel cell reloading. It takes a lot of cost, extra cost that many nations, powerhouses in this world don't have. These are important narratives when you get into economy of energy. Canada has massive resource, massive ability to trade those on the world market. Again, we're going to look at how the USA trades versus how Canada trades. Canada, unable to transport many, many resources out on the entire world stage. Limited, extremely limited. We don't have any military to protect our resources to get to those markets. We have no capacity in supply chains or world value chains to do any of it. Literally none of it. Besides dry good trade, some of which in automotives, that's about all we see. Basic limited manufacturing in Ontario and Quebec. Not so for every other region in Canada. Limited again by your government, where they want to go on world trade. You can check with the WTO. You will find out everything I'm presenting with you is 100% accurate. They don't want to give you that narrative. Justin Trudeau dealing with Joe Biden when it's literally here's Canada down here and here's USA way up here. They have all these systems in place. We have none of which. Do you think when you start making bilateral agreements, when one's over here and one's down here, who is going to be the tremendous, tremendous loser? It's going to be this one. This one's going to go down while this one continues to go up because those things are established in that nation. And unless, as Canada, we're going to equalize and say, listen, Mr. Mrs. America, we want to have this, and this, so that we're working on the world stage equilaterally. And then we can adopt some of these ideas when it's comparable, meaning taking climate as it is, not as future guessing on where the climate's going to go, but what you can produce in the climate you have with the resources you're able to utilize. This is what no one's going to tell you. You're going to hear two politicians sell you narratives that only one side has absolute overall power over, while the other side has none of it and never will. Never will. You can't bilaterally go out and make a narrative when one can't utilize all of these other things that the other one's utilizing to offset any and all costs. It's going to destroy Canada. This is the problem with having journalists as the absolute finance minister and narratives foreign when you don't even compare the economics, the real trade capabilities, value, supply chains, and exactly how the world moves. Canada doesn't do that. They never have. We are literally going to bankrupt what little we have down here. We're going to take even more of it away to try and get to over here when we don't have all these things in place. That's what's going to happen. Mark my words, Tuesday. Watch as I present that live for all of you. I will run it on Facebook Live. You will all get to see it live on my Facebook feed Tuesday. Remember this video. Get it shared out to everybody you can. Real economics, something I've worked tremendously hard on, and start asking all of your elected politicians from every party and say, what about all of these? What about all of these? Where do we sit in finance? Do we sit here, here, here? No. We don't equate to America. Not even close. You're being sold a bunch of lies where they're going to tell you that we can get up to here without having any of this. You don't need to know about that. That's called a false narrative and an absolute bankruptcy of your country. And it's sick, it's gross, it's disgusting that we have political parties going out there in absolute ignorance, selling all of you so many lies, telling you from foreign interests, the Green New Deal side, this climate change activism that doesn't address any of the major issues that put USA right here, but keep Canada down right here. We can't go to here without all of these things in place. Share it out, get the message out. It's hugely important. And for all of my loyal friends and followers, you're going to see this rolled out on Tuesday. It will make your stomach turn, and it should terrify you over the next 3 years. Get it shared out. It's all going to be rolled out Tuesday. And you'll be able to think back on this video and say, yeah, what about all those issues? What is the government doing to you? And if you think it's just Trudeau and the narrative of CPC or NDP, which they at least openly process the Green New Socialist Reset, but that narrative exists in the globalist reset too. Pierre Poilievre was already slapped on the bum and told, you will not talk about this anymore. If any of you haven't been paying attention, he just rolled out his goodbye video saying, I won't talk about any of these things anymore. Going back to the finance, the banking institutions, everything you absolutely have to know. And also I wonder how much of his timeline we're going to watch get erased. I've screenshot a lot of that stuff. I shared those videos. I'm curious to go back on my timeline and see if they still exist today. Should be interesting. Thanks all. Like I said, critical. Get it shared out. Tuesday is going to be massive. And I need you all to pay attention to it and get this video digested. All the issues I rolled out to you, and listen to Trudeau flap his gums and what they report from the mainstream media. And I promise you, none of the massive, massive factors I just outlined will ever even be so much as a whisper. Absolute autocratic corruption, foreign corruption. You'll see. Bye now.